my presentation. It's been helped by some of the people at Dental Monitoring, but I've kind of fine-tuned it the way I want to do it. I originally had an introduction to the future of orthodontics, but Dental Monitoring is more than just the orthodontic package. It's expressing the future of dentistry through teledentistry. And this is something we need to be adding to our tool set. It's something relatively new in the last few years. They've been talking about telemedicine, monitoring heart rates, monitoring your baby's infected ears so they don't have to go to the doctor. Lots of different issues and ideas with this. And so now it's been spread to the dental field as well. When you talk to your patients, you should let them know that you're not just a dentist, you're not just an orthodontist, you're not just a periodontist, you are a digital dental person. It means you're going to rely on all the tools available to be able to explain to them their treatment plan, to be able to monitor them remotely, and to make their life better and their health and make them a healthier person. Dental monitoring, just to give you an idea of what dental monitoring started as, it's the first app or platform that allows you to manage your patient's treatment remotely. Before, everyone had to come into your clinic, had to be seen. Now, with the use of artificial intelligence, we're now able to take pictures of them on a regular interval, monitor their gingival health, monitor their tooth movement, monitoring any recession, gingival recession, anything that you can ask someone in your clinic to monitor, we now have it through the process of dental monitoring and artificial intelligence. This is something we need to think about. Artificial intelligence is just a tool. The fundamentals are based on a digital data curation. In other words, we've got to get all the data in. There's statistical models that we run against all this data, and then we run probability studies to see how this is going to best fit. So we have thousands and thousands of dental images that we've combined, and we slowly sink that down and drive it down till we can identify the one tooth of your patient. This is by Dr. Hugh Harvey. He says we need to master artificial intelligence to benefit from the tools of tomorrow. This thing is exploding so rapidly, the things you'll hear today will be old news in about 3 months. Everything is changing very quickly, as you know. And this guy is the clinical director of the Kieran Medical in London. He's also on the Royal College of Radiologists AI working group. And he's been published worldwide on a variety of artificial intelligence applications. All right, so the dental monitoring, what can it help you? Can it help you? Can it make your life easier? Can it take some of the stress off of you? Can it take away some of your routine duties? Can you automate those through artificial intelligence so that you don't have to think about that, you just think about your patient? Okay? Can it help your staff? Same type of things. The staff is trained to listen to whatever the doctor says. And they come running to you daily on what can you do, what do we do, what do we do? You can train them through this app to be able to understand what's going on, and they can see things before it happens, or not before, but as it happens. Your patients will love this. They don't want to come to your office. As popular as you are, they really don't care to see you. I found this app about 3.5 to 4 years ago at the World Federation of Orthodontics meeting in London. I immediately got excited about it, went back and talked to some families in my office the following Monday, and I said, I know I'm a real cool person. You'll probably want to come see me instead of every 8 weeks, maybe 1 or 2 weeks, but I'm too busy. And they laughed. And I said, suppose we could see you every 12 to 24 weeks and give you the same service. And they were all nodding. Yes, they liked that idea. And then one smart mother said, yeah, but what about Johnny's toothbrushing? He doesn't do very well at all. And I told them I can see your son's toothbrushing every week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, whatever interval you want to set up. You can set that up and you can do virtual house calls. You have him take his picture at his house, gets back to you, the artificial intelligence looks at it and tells you, is there a problem, not a problem, and then you decide how you want to respond on it. So dental monitoring does not tell you anything to your patient. It's just giving you information. Just if you ask, they'll give it to you, and then you decide on how it's to be used. Your reputation as a progressive dentist, progressive orthodontist, one in the know, really will be pushed up in the community, and they'll see you as a super specialist. These are some problems that we move from an analog world to a fully digital, not just a little bit of the digital, but fully digital world, that what you'll have to work through initially. Your staff will be the biggest naysayer, the biggest issue to not having your compliance. When you go into your staff and you present them something, there's always 2 or 3 that go, she will forget about this once she gets a few days away from the meeting. We come back from meetings, we're so excited, we found the wonder product, and they just go, yeah, we've seen this before. I bet a week, and then somebody else in the back going, 2 weeks max, and they'll forget all about it. We're back to the same old thing because we've done this for years. So now what we want to do is to really get in with your patients and your staff and explain why there's a change and what it's going to benefit. It will benefit your staff because they will know what to do when the patient walks in the door. They'll no longer be frustrated when someone comes in with a lot of braces loose. They haven't brushed their teeth since 3 days before yesterday. All these things we're going to know in advance to know how to take care of it. So if we talk to the patient, talk to your staff first and let them know we're progressing, we're going to the next step. We no longer put bands around every teeth. We no longer see our patients every 2 to 4 weeks. We're progressing, and it's the best treatment for your patients. And if you'll always look at it, you're shaking your head, you know it. If you always put your patients first, it comes very easy for you. So now we're the new digital dentist in town. Here you can see the difference between the way we used to do it. The patients came into the clinic for all the procedures, and the clinic became the center of attention. So nothing happened outside of your clinic, and everybody drove in, walked in, whatever in, to your clinic, and they sat and they collected cobwebs. I won't tell you anybody's name, but it's an orthodontist that I know in Australia. He would keep them in all day and never get around to seeing them. The patients sat in the reception area growing cobwebs as they sat. Okay, so there was no regard for anybody's time. Now with everybody going on in the social media world, everybody wants to know what's in it for them. Patient's time is very valuable, and you want to respect that at all costs. If you respect that and explain to them why they need to take pictures, if you just show them a mouth prop and say, this is something that's a mouth prop, you're going to take pictures, I don't quite understand it either, you didn't train your staff, there's going to be a lot of confusion, a lot of backlash. So you need to start everything from the beginning, going very slowly, explaining to them what they're going to do and what the benefits are. This will allow us to see your child's teeth every week, every 3 weeks, whatever you decide, and we can monitor you very closely at that point in time. It's really less intensive labor because when they come into my office, if we haven't seen them for a while, they're kind of like, okay, who is this patient? How old are they? What stage in treatment are they? Where are they here? Let me look in. Oh, they've got 4 brackets loose. The Invisalign trays don't fit at all. When did this start? 6, 8 trays ago? Let me go back. Let me look at the computer screen. Let me look at your treatment plan. Back. And about 30 minutes later, you finally found the problem. With this, you walk in knowing what the problem is, and then you can direct how you want to go and what you want to correct next and what you want to put off till next time, what's most important for you. It takes more mental labor. You have to train your staff to look at it ahead of time. They're so used to just looking and reacting. Now we want to be in a prospective study. We want to be looking out and go, well, they're coming in, we need to set up for this, we need to do this procedure, that procedure. It's all right there. Patient sits down, and in your normal 10 to 20 to 30 minute time, they're back out the door and everybody's happy. These are the old days in my clinics. We didn't put many brackets on. We put rings around every tooth, stainless steel wires that needed a lot of hands-on bending. When I first came out, everything was brackets, everything was bending wires, everything was moving teeth very slowly, and having to see everybody every few weeks. Nowadays, we certainly do appointments every 10 to 20 weeks. And if we were trained seeing everybody 4 weeks, my generation, everybody sees everybody every 4 weeks. 5 or 10 years later in a residency, maybe they're going 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, but we just pick it. There's no rhyme or reason. I've got a great friend in the States, and I asked him, and he said 7 weeks. I said, how come? He said 6 weeks is too short, 8 weeks is too far. No scientific going on. We're just going by our gut. Dental monitoring now allows you to go by the scientific way. We routinely will see our Invisalign patients every 10 to 12 to 16 weeks. Some people are being seen every 20 to 24 weeks, depending on the situation. And so if you fit people in, then you're rushing your schedule, and at the end of the day, your beautifully coiffed hair is now swirly and wiry, and you go home and they say, it must have been a long day at the office. So what we want to do is make your day smoother and smoother, reduce your patient load per day because we're doing more of it virtually. We're checking you with these virtual house calls. We can see when you need to come in, when you don't need to come in, and your patients, both the adults and the kids, will like it because they don't spend as much time in your office for you to go, oh, don't you look nice? Have a great day. And some of my patients live within a 3 square mile area, 3 kilometer area, and others live 50 kilometers away. Well, the worst thing I want to do is someone who lives 50 kilometers or further away is to bring them in for me to go, don't you look sweet? I like that. Versus if I can let them know ahead of time everything is going on pace, your treatment's on schedule, I'm going to mail you out 4 more aligners, and you keep taking the pictures, and we'll go this way. So before we started monitoring patients, problems were discovered when the patient gets to the chair. They come into your dental clinic, and they've got a broken tooth, and all you heard is broken tooth. You don't know if it's a tiny chip, the whole tooth has disappeared, you don't know whether that's set up for your extractions, maybe a crown, maybe just to smooth something off. Now you know ahead of time, so you don't block an hour of time for a 2-minute procedure, nor do you block 2-minute time for an hour-and-a-half procedure, because once again you go home with this wild hair and this look in your eye that all your kids go, mama's had a rough day, stay away. And we all have it, but with dental monitoring you're going to do less of that thing. So you don't have to diagnose the problem. You've already diagnosed it, you've already decided what to do, the proper setup is there waiting, and your assistant, who you used to drive crazy doing 9 things at once, walks in and goes, it's all ready, doctor, and smiles. And you say, good job, Jennifer, this is perfect, this is how I want you to use the system. And once they understand how it works, it's like, now we're having a smooth day. Now we're having an ideal day. Okay? So you get to see when the problems appear, you get to make the decisions in advance, and everything's all ready for you. How to do this? Once again, you're at this IDS meeting, and if you go back home and you just drop it on a Monday morning, they're going to be betting on when you're going to forget that you ever learned it. So you have to go very slowly, explain the benefits to all, how it's going to make our days much easier, much simpler, much more controlled. And then I ask you to pick one person in the office to be the champion that learns the system inside and out. It's not a hard system to learn, but if you'll take the time to treat one, that way when you've got a larger staff and problems come up, they can turn around and go see, in my office, is Kristen. And Kristen knows everything about this system. For the clear aligner, I have someone else who knows all about that. For scheduling, someone else. For cost and for money coming in, somebody else. So you can delegate all this very nicely, and they'll be your champion forever. If you haven't done anything with dental monitoring, I would suggest you talk to your doctors at the staff, doctors in your clinic, about just doing some clear aligner cases. That's the easiest one, it's the quickest one to pick up the advantages of it, and the advantages are huge, and yet it's a very simple system. Later on you can go into brackets, later on you can go into, with the scan to go, you can go into gingival health, you can go into gingival recession issues, you can go into tooth wear, you can go in and see if somebody needs a night guard, a bleaching tray, whatever, and that we'll talk about in a minute, but there's a wonderful setup that Strawman is now using. Okay, this is the idea of what's going on behind the scenes. The doctor has an online dashboard. We get to build our own monitoring protocols, so what I do in my office may be different from you. Your product specialist can set that up. It's changeable, it's customizable. All the responses that says, you know, you're doing a good job brushing, you're doing a super job with this, and hey, you're the cleanest kid in the whole town, whole region, whole district. Any of that can be set up. So that's the communication system. There's a mobile app which is free to your patients. They have a great demo on the app to say, let me show you how to take it. Let me show you what we're looking for. Let me show you how you can communicate with us, because they can text. If you don't want them to text both ways, meaning just ingoing, you can say, fine, you can send them to me, but I don't want you to send them to me, I'll send it out to you. So all that is per your instruction. We also have an optional tooth movement calculation, which is real nice with extraction cases to see how quickly spaces are closing up. It's also very good to see how active your wires are. When you push an orthodontic wire in, you don't know when to change it again. But if you've been trained to say 7 weeks, you say 7 weeks. With dental monitoring now, you can see the activity on your dashboard. So it comes in from the patient to DM in Paris. They've got a huge warehouse of computers to do all this crazy AI stuff. They have at least 10 orthodontists looking over your data to make sure that what the computer says is accurate. The more data you feed into an artificial intelligence formula, the longer you feed it stuff, the smarter and smarter it gets. But there's always that human element. And then it comes back to you. Here it shows to your patient, please change your aligner. You've done everything you needed, and there's no give to the aligner on the pictures. These things are accurate beyond belief. I think it's 0.0, posterior it's 0.0, decimal 0.05 is the amount of tolerance. So then they get a message go or no go, and then any messages that come in, you can report that. The report sent to you, the instructions go out to your patients and or to your staff as to who should respond to this question. These are the protocols that you'll set up in your clinic. Your product specialist will do a great job setting these up and helping you establish. So you can go to an aligner protocol, you go to a bracket protocol, you can now treat retainers online that you never have to bring your retainers in if you don't want to, your retainer patients. The one thing that I forgot to put up here was I also follow my patients on growth and development. So when patients are 7 or 8 years old and I don't want to see them for a while, I'll ask pictures to be taken every few months. So this is what comes in every day, and my staff looks at it, and sometimes I look at it. All the greens means the patient was very compliant, and you get to go to your next aligner. The first one is red because we take the scan when they're in my office to show them. So they went through, and all of a sudden they got some problem in here, and this was just after the first of the year, and I'll type in, have you been sick? We haven't seen your pictures don't look as good. Your compliance is not good. Have you been sick, or is there something you want to tell me to make the product better? And most often I get like, yeah, I've had the flu. Oh, I'm glad you're feeling better. But that's why you get these messages. And then it will tell them the message. And you can see here, these fit very nicely. Right here, you're starting to get a little bit of an unseat. So with that area, I get a note from DM saying, please be careful. I'm not sure that tooth is tracking. It's that accurate. This is the coolest part that my patients think of dental monitoring. This is her first picture, and they're gradually morphed together to where she stands now. So now when she opens up her app, she can see where it is, because she said, I know I had some spacing, but I don't remember how much. Now with the app, she can open and see it. She can show her friends. She can show everybody at school, everybody at work. Look where I am now, look where I used to be. And I've had patients say, it's closed enough, I want to leave a little gap because my grandmother had a gap. Let them decide. Here's another patient. That's now after 7 months. He had an anterior crossbite. And in 7 months with Invisalign, with dental monitoring, we were able to fix this very quickly. One more. And these are being produced from the patient's own pictures. These are not photoshopped. These are nothing that's done in my office because I know we can take them better. This is just off their smartphone, and I tell them, don't make it perfect. You'll be doing this for an hour trying to get perfect. Just get something and we'll do better. And then at the end, we will take our own set of photographs in the clinic, so then they have a good beginning and a good ending. But yeah. And you can see gingival health. You can see a button is here, a button is off back here. So I've been doing digital orthodontics for over 14 years. I started with the SureSmile, which is a very technical product. With that, I learned how to move teeth virtually. I loved it, but I was missing some things, and nobody came in and asked me for SureSmile, but everyone came and asked about Invisalign. So now I'm a digital orthodontist. I've done over 650 of these. It takes a little bit of work going in initially, but you've got a great product team, you've got a ton of good engineers, ton of support, and they will hold your hand and walk you through this until you're on board and you understand it completely, and they're always upgrading. You saw before where we had green dots that they changed to aligners. They didn't used to have that. So now we see how many in a row. Are you a very compliant patient? Green, 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 green. And then they also will tell you what aligner you're on. There's any information that you can ask your staff, and they have to look through the computer or workshop or look through a paper chart and start counting. All this can be automated now through their program. Right now, it has grown from a little Paris office. Now the dental monitoring is in Europe, US, UK, Australia, Hong Kong, Singapore. We've had multiple different countries come up here this week. One off the top that we just talked to is Turkey, Russia, Anywhere you can think of, people are coming up to the show, which is great, and they're beginning to develop these products. The best way to do it is to learn to the product reps, come either now or later on, learn from them, order your starter kit, and then they start your training very quickly and appoint one person in your office to be your demo. One last thing, they come out with new products. See Sir Nick Duncan. I have knighted him. The Queen will be knighting him soon. He's your smiling Aussie right there in the white shirt. And he has developed a product called Smile Mate that he would love to explain to you about how it's going to increase the efficiency in your office and with referring doctors as well. Go outside and haul 4.2 to the big tractor trailer. Strawman has got a product now called Dent to Go that's based on the dental monitoring system. And this is what the trailer looks like out front.
Good, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.